Chapter review.
Love the homegrown vibe.
We remember people who make us feel good and who make us want to be the best version of ourselves. You can optimize an interaction by expecting optimal outcomes. Elevate people by hacking listening.
I'm finna text you this next address. Yeah, made it out. Hey, this is gonna be a good one.
Well, let's start off here. This is something, if you're watching right now, that looks completely different than what you're used to seeing from the Danza Project.
Just a little bit.
But this is something that we had to make sure that we made happen, because since 2022, when I first started seeing you go crazy with the content, I heard the sound, which was unique. I saw what you were doing with it from a business sense, which was unique. And I was like, this dude, we have to get up there. So I started DMing like crazy. Yeah. You know, shoot those DMs out. Press like. Send a comment in there saying, yo, check your DM. You know? and you responded. And ever since then, I knew that one day it would happen. And it just so happens that today is the day.
Hey.
That we were finally able to make it happen.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Danza Project.
You know what's hella dope? That process, like, I was able to become a fan of y'all platform throughout these past few. And when I went back in my messages, I was like, oh shit, even better now, right. You know? Because it was like, wow.
Solidified.
I was already finna come y'all way, like, nigga, we need to get up. And you was already tapped in, we need to get up. So it was just like perfect synergy, alignment.
I'm actually going to be coming out here.
Because I got questions for y'all too. I've just been seeing it build, and it's been a dope organic approach. So fire. That's some shit, man.
I knew that would come too.
Of course.
Like this is one of those. Like I get excited for interviews, but some of them far surpass others. I've been reaching out to you for that long because ever since I first saw your energy, I'm like, damn, that's me in the Bay.
Fire.
Like the way you like I was just telling them, like, you got an aura about yourself. You know what I mean? There's definitely like a light shining over you. Come on. And you can see it. You can see it with the way people react to you.
You heard? It's new. So like the game just ain't seen it in so long. Like it used to be a common energy. You know, it used to be so many artists you see and they bring that excitement and you get that energy, like you want to be in a space, but that shit now is just like, you know, y'all interview on top 5. Like it'd be like that be like the pickings now. It's a different field.
Kato, how you feeling today?
I'm a little tired, bro. Yeah. Flying from the East, I'm on 2 hours of sleep. So this
and
is
you
like,
worked today.
Come on,
we had a
man.
work day. They was on set today. If I start here, Splash,
Candace.
they can get off a bit brand new. Like we just huddle and kind of get.
Candace, look this way. Look this way.
Shout out Vallejo. Come
It's
on.
different.
I love it.
It's different.
Listen,
Yeah.
that was beautiful in itself. So earlier today, we were able to go out with you while you were doing visualizers for the music. Looks like just straight up music videos. You brought the kids out.
Yeah.
You take really good care of your community. You got the people sitting in the background, the mothers. And I overheard a comment of Miss Butter, right? Butter Smooth, whatever the name was, right?
Black Butter.
Black Butter.
She said, make sure y'all look out for me. I'm finna follow y'all. My name is Black Butter. I said,
And-
okay, baby, I'm gonna watch
the
out
comment,
for it.
The comment I heard in the background was, baby, pay attention to him. He's gonna be bigger than Pac.
Ooh.
No LOL.
Wow.
And I sat there, I listened to it, I'm like, that's a bold statement, right? Tupac is, West Coast royalty.
Yeah.
And what you do for the community, the way you're able to reach people through the content, through social media, just the positivity behind your craft, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
What you're doing is incredible. There's nobody to compare you to.
She's been watching the whole
Hello.
time.
How are you? What's your name? Bria.
See what I mean? Thank you so much. See, Bree, I told you.
And I think that's why when people make the Pac comparison, they don't never mean directly. They're just going like as high as when's the last time they felt that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like that's one of the last times that we all felt that feeling of like, this is something so special and authentic, and he get what I get and understand, you know, like a lot of the OGs and the older people make that, you know, correlation because that was the last person they felt like that about.
Somebody to get behind. Yeah.
What was that?
Somebody to get behind.
Yeah.
You know?
What we like to do with our podcast is we like to introduce the viewers to you as if they never heard who you were.
Yeah.
Right. So take us all the way back.
This nigga.
Right. All the way back of what it was like in the household coming up and how you got into music.
You know what's hella funny? We do interviews, right? We do hundreds of them. And every time T got to brief people and I be like, tell them the questions. And we hate answering the same question we answered 100 times. But I fuck with y'all so much, I'm going to give y'all the answer.
Right.
But please don't be like, what age did you start rapping? When you was like, nigga, I didn't answer that shit 1,000
What's your hardest
times. I answered that
struggle?
shit so many times now, I just start lying. But man, my first like remnants of like rapping and writing raps, I was like 7 years old, and me and my sister used to have like this boombox radio, and she used to have on Nuck If You Buck, and she used to write her verse over and just rap over it. And I was like, man, I'm finna write one too. And we ended up rapping it for my mom and my cousin in the kitchen, and you know, they was just like, oh, y'all tight. And that was enough spark for me to like, I'm gonna keep, you know, just in the background. I've always been like writing throughout my whole life in the background. Towards middle school, I found a video of Kanye West producing on YouTube, and I was like, I want to produce. So I got into music as a producer. I was just making beats. My sister's boyfriend at the time came over to the crib and gave me a crack version of FL Studio.
Come on.
Every day after school, making beats, learning how to sample. I used to make beats for like everybody at the school who rapped and shit like that. Then I started making them for myself to rap over. And then probably like 11 or 12 or so, my best friend, his dad had a studio. Went to their crib, and you know, studio back then is like, really, we just in the crib with a mic, you know. But he taught me how to like enunciate and how you spit, and just being able to like leave somewhere and have my songs on a burned CD at that time, nigga, I thought I was up, you know. And I just kind of kept growing. I was always working on it in the background. High school came, I started putting out like mixtapes and shits. And I end up battling. One of my best friends at the time had better nigga at the school. He was like, man, my nigga smoked you in a battle. I've never battle rap. You know, he was just talking confidently about his nigga. Right? And we end up going, and it just went. And the whole school seen that shit. Video started. It was like viral back then for what we thought was viral. You know, 1,000 views back then was like, nigga, you feel me? And I just kind of kept going from there. And after high school, my senior year, I had a child. So I kind of stopped releasing music publicly, but I was always working on music in the background. And I just started going to work, doing my job so I could like handle my business and shit. And in 2018, I was like, man, I'm finna take this shit back serious. And I dropped my first project. It just kind of started getting a little rapport around the city. But one moment that really stuck out, my pops gave a CD to the UPS man. One day I'm in the garage. I used to rehearse in the garage. Pull up, hop out the UPS truck, and it's like, what the is this you gave me? You feel me?
Can you burn me some more? Can you give me some more?
That feeling and energy. We did our first show, and it did well, and I just kind of start doing shows. And that very next year, I ended up quitting my job. And once I quit my job, one of the first things that came to me, I got in contact with a guy named Micah who worked at Vivo. He was like, man, if you come to New York, I can't pay you, but I'm launching this series with Vivo. You're going to be the pilot. I'll do 3 or 4 with you. You can keep all the content, but I can't pay you. I was like, go. I end up being the first pilot for that series. They end up launching it. Like today, you see a bunch of like rappers. That's part of their PR rollout. I'm the reason that shit exists, a partial reason that it exists. I was the first demo that made them say approve. You feel me? Don't even know. Like it's so much shit in culture that I've been intertwined with and added to this point, but you know, nigga just been growing and scaling since. And I met Tieta in 2021. 2021, I had like my first viral moment. I had one before then. You know, I wrote an R&B record for one of my best friends and we shot a visual and that shit went on Twitter, like 1 million views early. But 2021 is when I had like my first own viral moment for rapping, the 2021 freestyle. And it's been up since. I ain't stopped working since that shit.
I think you kind of misunderstood my question, right? So the rap part is probably what a lot of people ask for because they're going just off the music. Mm-hmm. I think you have a brilliant mind. Mm. So when I'm talking about the upbringing and how it started, I'm talking about what was it like in your household and how did you come to be?
You know what's crazy? Me and my mom were just having a long ass talk the other day. That shit's not from my household. You know, like some people are just kind of like chosen. And you could like look at their family lineage and everyone around them and it's an anomaly. Like it don't even make sense. It's like, how? You feel me? How did you come out of that pot and become this? It's not from that, you know, like the universe has like guided me and threw things into my life as I've grown that has really altered my perspective and my perception on the life that I was living. You feel me? When I was working, probably about 2018, 2019, I met this girl who worked at the job I was working at. She was from Singapore. She gave me a book called The Freedom Simplified. It was my first time reading since like school, and it altered my perspective on life. It's like Buddhist texts and principles of how you navigate life. And I've never had anyone explain life to me in that manner. Like I start thinking about shit that I never really questioned. I just kind of moved about life as a nigga growing up from the block. You know what you know, you feel me? You don't ever think beyond. You don't think about the karmic cycle in the world. And you don't think about the energy you output and what that does and how you cultivate and you don't think about none of that shit. And that shit started changing me. And slowly after that, I took mushrooms and that was another like, it fuck up. Your state is altered. But in the crib, it's like, man, I have a really cultural upbringing. Like my family is ghetto. Like a beautiful ghetto, but it's like we had TVs in the front yard, you know, like, like you know, it was like. It's one of those like sitting on the backyard fence during shows. We throwing comedy shows. There's dog shit on the side. The dog chained up eating nachos. You know, like it was just a really, really black experience, you know, for me growing up, and that's where I gained so much culture and so much sauce. But in terms of like the shit that people get to see in the world of me, like, you know, the character and being, like, so much of that came from home, but a lot of it came from shit that was just like the universe chose me and gave me information that I was supposed to carry out.
Word. So, but the thing is, like, how do you recognize something like that if you've never seen it before? Because usually when you speak about your craft, you speak with such a level of conviction. It's as if it hasn't happened yet, but you already know it to be true. When you talk about the merch, when you talk about how you want to sell shows and how you want to, you know, do your rollout and how you want to control the way your whole thing is portrayed and received to the public, you speak as if it's I already seen it.
My imagination has always been my reality.
Okay.
And that's a power of mine. I didn't know what my backyard would become, but I knew if I did the work, it couldn't become any less than what it is today. I knew when I got this building, if I'm here and my niggas here and I want to start, I know that it's going to be, you know, so like anything that pops into my head. Me and Splash was having a convo the other day and he started laughing. He was like, man, if anybody else was having this convo, they would be laughing because it'd be like, it ain't no way this gonna happen. But me, if I'm talking about, I'm finna bring a monster truck and park it in my driveway, that's a real... 2 days later, you're going to see a monster truck in my you're going to see a monster truck in my driveway. You feel me? Because that's how, for me, it's a very thin line between imagination and reality. I'm like, if I want it, it's the real deal, you know?
Right. I mean, we witnessed a little bit of that today without, you know, ruining too much, but you had the joints flying in and, you know, you had the dance squad coming in here and everything came into place. When I saw it on the monitor, which is like game changer.
I slam dunk and roll, I smoke skunk. This ain't
that. I was
y'all
like,
seen
wow.
it from the melting pot form where it's like there's no idea, right? We didn't have there was zero, and we mapped it and was like, okay, we're gonna do this, and then you see that final, and it's like,
this look good. Wow, yeah. Nah, it was awesome just to experience watching it all happen kind of from the beginning and watching everybody play their part happily. And
happily.
Camera rolling. Audio.
Hey. To the airport. Hey. Billboard can't come my fans. We heard your shit. It was my muscle. I said, bro. Hey, what you want? I don't care.
Well, because that's a big part of it. Like, I could pull somebody in and I could hire somebody no matter what the fee is, and the level of work and the level of the tenacity in which you perform, whatever it is that you provide, if you don't care, it's just different. I always refer to like fighters. When you see fighters, when they first get in the game and they're hungry, they fight like hell. Like there's no food in the bowl.
Man.
When they start getting a little bit of money and the hunger ain't there so much, they don't show up with the same tenacity, with the same level of dedication. So it's cool.
Right.
It's cool to see people kind of circle around you and allow you to navigate what you have to do, because you're directing all of this too.
Yeah.
Live. So you're in it, jump back, check the monitor. Okay, here's what I need. I need 3 to come right here. I'm gonna stop, keep going. We're gonna hit the switches.
Yeah.
Man, it was like magic just watching that. It was real dope.
And it's because
cool.
I show up with that tenacity. Like we always we be outside and niggas be like, man, how do you build a team like this? And how do you build a community like this? And it's like, you have to be it. And people resonate with that. You can't show up to set and you got like a shitty energy and all that, and then expect everybody else to have an energy that you don't have. Like you have to really be the cultivation point for that to exist.
Mm-hmm. Leading from the front.
Yeah.
It was another moment really quickly. One of the moms of the dancers that was out there, we needed somebody to move a car or something like that. And I don't think they heard you, so your man was just trying to help you out. Hey, tell that. And he started cursing. He said, hey, watch your language. And she was like, that's my guy. That's my guy. Because you don't have to do that. But when you create that type of environment and you basically choose where you draw the line in, it forces people to kind of fall in line or get lost, get left behind and not be a part of it. It's up to you. But if you want to be a part of this, just watch your language.
That's how we get down. Right. Man, and that's a beautiful, like, it's tone setting. It's tone setting. Mm-hmm. There's a you that you could be in every situation. And we live by that. Like, I don't never want to not be themselves, but every situation requires a certain version of you. Sometimes you need to be a lamb, sometimes you need to be a lion. You're dealing with your child, you need to be a lamb. You don't need to bring that energy here. But if you're dealing with, something that you have to deal with, you need to be a lion, and you have to, determine when which is necessary.
Now I imagine becoming a father of a girl.
Yeah.
Has also softened you up a little bit.
Definitely.
and how do you attribute that to like all the success you've had, right? Like, I believe, and I know on one of the tracks I heard you say, 23-year-old with a daughter, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm guessing you had her 17 years old. What was that like, having a daughter at 17 years old, and how has that changed you?
Man, it was traumatic at 17. I remember when I first found out, me and my best friend went for a walk, and I was just crying the whole walk. Like, I really didn't know what I was gonna do. I just really felt like I f***ed up and ruined my life. I was like, damn.
How am I gonna do this?
But I was very, very unaccountable. I felt like, like her mom did something to me, and she did nothing to me. I wasn't able to take accountability at that phase, so I was like holding a grudge against her and feelings against her that wasn't real. She did nothing to me, but just learning and growing into a man, and then having a daughter. And I was really blessed with like an angel child. Like, my mama,
bless.
My mama is a funny ass, but like when I was growing up, she was able to be mean to me. Like at times, however she feeling, she was able to be mean to me. I can't be mean to my child at all because I just feel stupid after. Like I feel like it's just like she's so you know, it's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing all that?
I love you. Why you
feel
making
me? So it really shows me a different side of myself, you know, and knowing that I have to be a leader and show up in a certain way. But it also made me like really grow as a human. I remember like walking with my daughter and like telling her like, you know, I'm your dad, but I'm just a human in this world, you know, and I don't own you or anything. I'm here to guide you and help you on your path. And I may not be the best or hero in this time, but I am a human. And, you know, we both growing up together. So it's really dope because she's really understanding and I get to talk to her as a human. I've never spoken to her like a baby. The same level of conversation we have is the convos that we have. Like sometimes we'll do homework. And at the end of her homework, I'll tell her, write 3 questions about life, 5 questions about life, just to see like, what is she thinking about, you know? And it's a beautiful thing because she always asks shit I don't have the answers to, you know? And it's like, I love being able to be like, I don't know. We gonna Google and find out,
together,
or
baby. Yeah.
shit, I don't know, you know? But it like really puts you in a position to remember that you're human. I don't try to show up as no superhero or none of that. Like when I was growing up, I thought my parents was somebody who they wasn't. Not because they like in a way they led me to believe, you know, a certain aspect of them. But it was just like, you know, it wasn't fully authentic conversation, deep talk. Hey, this is what you know, I didn't really have that connection. So when I got old enough to get to an age where I could like see, and it's like, oh, you feel me?
Yeah.
It shocks you a bit.
Is it reading that helped you change that?
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Reading, and I spent a lot of time listening to Sadhguru and watching Steve Jobs talk and watching Tim Cook talk and watching a lot of people who built the world or established just, you know, Sadhguru specifically because he gives you a lot of information on life, and Swami. Like I just start really listening to the people who cultivated the world in a way that I thought was cool.
Yeah.
How did you get into like so for me, I recall coming up, I never wanted to be dumb, right? So I would take my ass to Barnes and Noble, and you know, a lot of the books I read were self-improvement. So I started learning that way. How did you get into, like you mentioned that somebody recommended you a book? Did it just go crazy?
That's what opened that door. After that first book, I remember as soon as I was doing that book, I logged on Amazon and I forgot what the I typed in. I had Googled like best 50 spirituality books, and I just started. I had a bunch of Swami books when I started, Sadhguru, Inner Engineering, and Karma, and I just kept going down the list. I ended up finding Don Miguel Ruiz, and you find Eckhart Tolle, and you kind of just, it starts coming to you, and after you read so many of those books, once information is ingested into your system, it's kind of hard to like deny it or forget it. And you still, that's no change. Like I've had all of this information, it's still been an ancient ass because it don't change you, but it makes it harder for you to do those things. Like you got to go against so much weight. Like now where I am in my life to do like some shit, some stupid shit, like I be having to go against everything in me, you know, versus back then, before I start reading and knowing, I can move any kind of way without feeling any kind of way about it. You feel me?
If you don't know better, you know how you're supposed to do better.
Exactly.
I like what you said about Sadhguru too, because first of all, that's just the one out of the ones that you mentioned that I've actually read into. And man, the way he, I didn't want to get you to left, but the way that he explains things through stories and through tales, it's like the most sage advice you can find. It's like stories that apply over many layers of other aspects of life, not just the story of what he's telling you. He'll tell you about a farmer and a cow and how does this relate to my life? But when you get the message and the shit start to hit, it's interesting what you said too, because it's like going against your internal conscience. Once you have that information, it's like, hold on, I know better. Wait, you have to actually try to go against that versus going with what you know. So it's kind of interesting, man.
Apples to applesauce. Sadhguru taught me how to take things from apples to applesauce. I remember early on, before I started doing interviews, I used to be like, man, I want to be like Sadhguru. I just want to get paid to kind of like speak and show up and give my information and perspective. And you can't do that if you don't know how to turn apples to applesauce. Everybody can't eat apples. But applesauce, grannies can eat it, kids can eat it, adults can eat it, everybody. But if you ain't got no teeth, you can't eat no apple. You feel me? And it just taught me how to like take these macro things and bring them to a level to where anybody can understand it. Like I had an interview like last week and he was like, how important is delivery? Right? And I always explain everything in metaphor. And I was telling them, like, if you ordered a pizza and a nigga came to your house and threw the pizza at the door and was like, pizza's here. Even though the pizza is here, you're gonna be like, I don't want that because the delivery. Yeah. But if a nigga came and you opened the door and he was like, here, I got $10 for you too. You look good today. Had this pizza. You gonna eat that shit like, nigga, this the best pizza, right? Yeah. And it's like being able to break down things that people don't typically understand in a way to where, like that story I just told, you can't miss it. You can't misinterpret that because we've all ordered a pizza. I turned it into applesauce with a concept that's like grand and you chunk it down. And I feel like that's why I've been able to get to where I am because the world can understand me.
Do you do, is it all hardcover books? Is it Audible? Do you do both?
I only read like physical books.
Really?
Yeah, I can't get into like it just don't feel the same.
Eric Thomas, the motivational speaker,
Yeah.
He's famous for saying, you know, sometimes he only has to read 10 pages of the book to get the message. Do you always read it front to back, or does sometimes like you get the message through a book?
Yeah, I like to try to complete it, you know, but I feel like there's messaging in every page. And sometimes there's messaging that's not for you at the time, so you miss it. You got to come back and read it a third or fourth time. Yeah. You know, it's like a song. You know, there's Pac lyrics that I didn't get when I was a kid, and as I grew, it was like, damn. You feel me? So there's a message. The message that's for you at its current time may change, you know, through those years of rereading it. So I got to get through it though, you know, because you may think you got the message in the first 10 pages and then it's like, nah, you didn't get to the end for me to give you the rest of it.
The full picture. I relate that to albums. When I first get put onto an artist, I love the single. I love whatever track got you there, how I found you on YouTube or whatever it was. My homeboy saying, check this out, download this one. Yeah. Or I just heard it and I sound Shazam, you know. But I want to hear the album. I want to hear the full body of work. I want to know what you were thinking about from the reason why you put this one in the front and when people used to do interludes and I want to know all that. I want to hear all that. I want to hear the skits. I want to hear how you wanted me to hear it before I judge you as an artist and just say, oh, the dude that sang Bad and Bougie? Oh, okay. No. I want to hear the whole art before I say he trash or I really rock with Cuz. Because it's so many times where like, I don't know, man. It's like people would judge you off that one single and never hear the rest of your artwork or never go back into the crates and hear the shit you did in 2018. Right. And it's like you missing a whole aspect of me. The one I'm rapping about in 2024 is because of what I said in 2020, and you know, it's a compilation of everything. It's an accumulation.
You know what's beautiful and that I'm learning, like this state I'm in now, is like you have to earn all those things. Like as an artist, my goal is to be great enough to make you want to go back in my catalog and be like, what was this nigga on then? You know, like we live in a society today where so much is given that people kind of feel away when people don't do those things. But it's like you earn those. You make someone excited to want to go to your album and listen from track one all the way through. You know, like all of that shit is shit that you really earn.
I'll never forget. I heard Russ talk about that. He said, I just kept making albums. He said, and people, nobody could find me, nobody heard about me, but I just kept dropping albums. I kept working on my craft. He said, you know what happened? When I did drop that one single, guess what they did? They went back and streamed the other albums. Everything. And now everybody's like, yo, what have I been missing out on? And those fans, he said, those are my favorite fans. Yep. Those are the ones that show up to the shows. They show up early. They buy the merch. They call in. They send a text to subscribe to the email newsletter. He said, those are the ones. He said, that's the crowd that I want. He said, my crowd found me. I'm like, if so many artists could hear that.
Bro, and that's what we preach here. Like,
I know.
You know, they teach you in marketing, like, you have to go find your audience and go this. And I don't agree with that shit ever. You never go find an audience. Like, your audience should be you. Like when you step on stage and look in that crowd, you should see people that reflect you, your values, your morals, your ethics. If you a black artist talking about the black plight and you look in the crowd and there's a whole bunch of white people who doing drugs and jumping the raving, something happened. Something got lost. Maybe you doing something that's not reflective of who you are. Maybe you making music or got an image that don't reflect who you truly are. But that shit, your audience should be reflective of you. A nigga should be able to walk up to you and be like, man, you said this and it got me through this. I'm going through that. I relate. I feel you. You never have to look for your audience. You know, the people who like McDonald's find McDonald's every time.
in China.
No matter where you at. God. Worldwide.
One of the greatest systems in the world, McDonald's. Great system.
Yeah.
Now, when we go through your catalog, if you go on one of these platforms and you click albums, you got to scroll like you'd have to scroll through somebody's songs. Yeah. Yeah, you got to hit the...
Let it go for a bit. Let it go for a bit.
And you go all the way back and you listen to your earlier music. There was more gun bars in your earlier music than there are today. When you look back at that and you look at the evolution of your music, do you ever feel like you're listening to your younger self and do you regret speaking like that because of how positive you are?
No. Like I'm really proud because I don't think I've ever said anything hyper malicious or insane that wasn't like for the art or a true story within my journey. You feel me? So no, I love that people get to witness and experience the evolution of man. Like you don't just come out and become this positive light that is able to help and share and spread. And that don't just fucking happen. That's a rarity. And it take common. Malcolm X was a pimp and a drug dealer, before he became Malcolm X standing on car. Hey, let's get this shit together. This is what we bout. So it's beautiful for people to witness just people evolve and come to, and like even the terms of the music, like it's changing, like a nigga say shit about sex and all that shit back then that I don't really mention now unless it's in a certain regard, you feel me? Yeah, so it's like you have to see people evolve to just know like, man, this is real. This is a human. This is a human. The problem is we don't get to witness evolution in music.
There was a bar in one of your earlier songs that you had mentioned something about a friend. And you were saying that they were saying that you could have saved them. And you said you don't know that, right? And you were focused on saving yourself. That bar struck me because like I'm sitting there like I want to know what happened. Right. Yeah. So what actually occurred in that scenario?
I had a homie early on that just like we used to kick it every day, and that was my dog. And we start coming to a path in our life where like a nigga was just always on some wild shit, and every time we hung, you end up getting into some shit.
Wild shit.
Or you gotta pull up and like, you end up getting into some shit that's like, I don't even have nothing to do with it. I don't need to be in this shit, right? And you start to realize, I remember one day I had got suspended for some shit, and my pops had dropped me back off after school when I got back, and he was like, be a leader. Like you all this shit happening, you doing it, be a leader. You feel me? You not no fucking follower, be a leader.
Yeah, you picking
and
up
it
his
really
trouble.
made me look around, and it's like, nigga, every time a nigga on some bullshit or into some shit, it has to do with this shit. And just after that, I start seeing his progression slowly decline. And since we was like close and best friends at one time, people used to always see him like he ended up being on that shit. And nigga just outside, just on that shit. And every time people used to see him, people used to be like, man, that's your boy, ain't it? And at first that shit used to make me mad because it'd be like, man, you feel me? Like you don't even know how to experience that as a kid when like one of your close friends become a knock and you used to laugh at knocks and shit, that's a different experience. So it's like that shit bother you and burden you. And then as we got older, like, man, I remember I was working and he hit me out of nowhere and they pulled up to the house. Clothes all fucked. It just more shit. Every time you experience something, it's like, damn, bro. It became like an omen. And it was like, there was nothing I could ever do to help him. But when niggas come up to you like, man, you ain't look out for your boy, it's like, Nigga, I was struggling. Like, nigga, I don't look at it. Like, a nigga ain't looking out for himself. A nigga putting you in detrimental situations that's not beneficial to your life or journey, but look at you away when you step away. You know, all throughout my life, I had a couple homies who just went the other way. You feel me? Just went the other way. And it's like, you always have to make those choices early on, like, where do you want to go in your life and in your journey? And what do you want to do and what do you want to be? And, you know, I've learned throughout just when shit's not aligning no more and people moving in a direction or a path that I'm not moving in, I learned to cut that tie. And it always hurt, you feel me? But it's like, you have to be a leader.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They say one of the most misused sayings that I hear all the time is where people almost try to insult people with. It's like, oh, you forgot where you came from, right? I'll never forget where I came from. And that's what they always say. And where you come from is never where you're headed, right?
Yeah.
For some people it is. I think it's a misused term, and I think people need to like separate where they came from because we grow mentally, right? We don't have the ability, unless you got Alzheimer's, to forget where we came from. We actually don't. We remember. But our jobs as leaders, as people who are aiming to be successful, what we're doing is we're trying to improve our lifestyles, our families' lifestyles, and then be able to reach back out to the community. What you're doing right now into the community, changing it.
Yeah.
You know, what does that feel like for you to be able to see these kids go out there and like the look on their faces when we pulled up, like, what car is he in? You know? Yeah. And then you pop out in the purple with him. Was that planned, by the way?
No. I forgot that I told him to be there. Yeah. Because I was just working and in the flow. And on my way there, I got the message and I was like, oh shit. You feel me? So it was just a flow. But no. That's the crazy part. Yeah, because the universe is always working for me. It's always working. But them moments like mean so much to me. Even having all the mothers and like people who bring cars on the shoot, you know, when some niggas shoot, like if you go to the LA, the big artists with the LA, it's a closed shoot. You can't even come on set with no camera, none of that shit. They like, get the fuck. It's not the same energy. When we shoot, I don't give a fuck who. I let everybody be immersed in it and witness the experience. I want to put them in groups at different sections along the walk. That way we can still be able to get the video throughout. When I was growing up, I never seen a nigga who was successful or famous. So I know what it means to them when I hop out that truck and smile and hey, and they get to see me and talk to me in real time. I never had that experience ever. Nigga, I thought famous niggas was only on TV. Only on TV. I never knew you could be one or it was like, oh, this a real nigga. I thought that was just for TV, bro. I never had that experience in my life. So when I go pick my daughter up and I'm outside with these kids and I go to the game and I'm always here. I'm always home, walking around, going to eat. I never turn people away. I always allow them to get that energy and that experience because I know it could change your life. We buy some of the kids bikes. Like they know me so much that they know my mama when they see her and they feel good about where they from, you know, and what they can be. They know it's an actual possibility. Like, they don't have to look on TV and be like, maybe I could be a rapper. They see LaRusell and be like, LaRusell here every day, and he's successful. We know he can do it, you know? So it really alters the perspective, and it gives just a light that I never got to experience. So I'm here. That's why I pour so much in a home. Just, I don't want to be the last nigga to make it from here.
Do you understand the impact fully that you're leaving on these people? Like, again, all the comments that were left behind, one of these women were talking to Cato, and they said that, you know, in the Bay, they mess with certain artists.
Yeah.
Right? Like, every area.
Yeah, she was saying, like, usually if you get popping, you might just be popping in your hood, but it's a rare situation where from top to bottom, the whole...
Every region.
Everybody, like, that's him. We put him up. Like, that's the one. We push him to the forefront because him... versus just local love, local support. And
that's because we propel every city, every region. Like, I don't never go nowhere. Like, you know, when I travel, anytime I land, I'm like, I'm home. no matter where I'm at. And it builds that energy of just like, I'm really a hometown team. I'm like the Warriors for the Bay, you know, I'm like the Giants and the A's. I'm a hometown team. And they know that I represent the region as a whole.
When you had the potential Roc Nation deal, and you mentioned how, which I thought was super dope, like if Jay-Z wants to sign me, I want to talk to Jay-Z. I want him to tell me. Let's say that did happen. Do you think you would have been able to become the LaRussell you are today?
We have that conversation often. Sometimes I'll be like, man, did I stunt my career by not signing? Because I'll look at the people who were like getting signed during the time that I was getting courted and shit. And I'd be like, damn, they was able to do that with him. I'm me.
Right.
So imagine what a nigga could have did when you get a real dog in mind who really run and plays and go. But it's also, I wouldn't have had the freedom to build what I've built because I wouldn't have owned my masters, but they would have been on a 20-year license. So I wouldn't have been able to get royalties and shares to gold members and people like this. You know, it's so much of what I built that existed outside this. I may not have even built my own ticketing infrastructure and platform because I would have had it integrated into my deal where I could just go do to, you know, so it's so much that wouldn't have happened if I did. So I don't think I would, but I know I would still be majorly successful because they've done it with people who wasn't even, you know, a quarter of what a LaRusell is. You feel me? Like the tier is different. So either way, I would have been successful, but it definitely wouldn't have looked this way, you know? So I'm grateful that it does look this way because I showed everybody that you could be major without being on a major. I have a tiny desk, you know, like it's Breakfast Club,
hitting the horns.
you know, you feel me? Like I have all the major things that they do when they do their album runs. LaRusell get all them same plays. You know, it looked the exact same way. The only difference is mine is real and organic and fueled by the people. So I'm happy it did go this way, but we think about that shit all the time, you know?
Yeah. I saw a clip, I don't know who it was, but they were having a conversation back and forth with you about Jay-Z. You mentioned he could do whatever he wants. You were right. You know what I mean? I'm like, why is this guy even arguing this? You know what I mean? Like, that's somebody that could do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like this is where your journey is headed. Because you navigate like the ultimate boss, right? Like you're going to create these videos. There's nobody else there telling you what to do. It's LaRusell saying, okay, here was how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna walk through here, and it's like, I swear it seems planned. You know what I mean? Like there's no way that you could just come up with this like this. You know what I mean? What? Again, it's probably the books, right? So like a lot of these questions I'm asking, it seems like it could go back to the books, but how did you become that way?
Man, when I was younger, my pops hustled hard. And every hustle he had, he kind of integrated me in a way to where it's like I could assist with something. Whether he put me in the assembly line of moving this around, moving this, make sure this done. He used to go to work. I used to work the burn towers. He used to be like, in 20 minutes, you gonna kick out, go switch this, make sure this done, swap it to this. When I get done, have these for me, spool it up, pack it, label, whatever, you feel me? Like, he integrated me in the process of his hustle because it made his hustle a bit easier and the job easier. And through that, I just learned process, you know? And when I start working, I started adapting those principles and I'm just like a natural leader. Every job I went to, I started at like floor level and end up working up to where it was like, I say what goes on here. It don't matter what the title is. Y'all know who run this shit. You feel me? Like that was naturally my progression. And I would say just kind of through that, being under my pops, like he conditioned me to hustle early as a kid without me knowing it. Like I used to have to get up at 6 a.m. sometimes with him. We going to the flea market, we finna get this. I'm on the road all day, 12 hours. You might not eat till we coming back home. Right. But it conditioned me for the life I live now. I'm out.
Yeah.
I hustle. When I'm getting it, I'm going until the work is done. You feel me? And I was conditioned to do that early. So I think all of that just kind of I adapted them practices.
Yeah,
I
nice
feel
little
as
internship.
though I was speaking the other day and I said Illuminati. People speak about it a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe it's misinterpreted, right? Like there's certain people that are illuminated. They got this glow about them. I think that's what happens when you're at these jobs, right? Like there's just a glow about you that like they could say, hey, I need you to go flip that burger. And you're like, well, time out. You got to go flip it because I'm taking care of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you got that energy about you. It resonates. The things that we're saying while we're over there with you earlier today is like, man, that's a contagious
And you
and
know
an
what's
inspirational
crazy?
energy.
I got that whether I'm flipping a burger, mopping the floor, or running the company. I can have a broom in my hand sweeping and you're gonna be like, man, I love that guy. Cause I'm gonna bring that to any job I have to do. Everywhere I go, whatever I have to do, I'm doing it. It's not a seldom experience. You see me carrying shit, moving shit around. I do whatever to get it done, and I do it with that energy. You feel me? Like that. That's really what it is. That's what it has. It has little to do with the task. Like sometimes we talk about how like I give so much information away, and sometimes I'm naive. I'm like, man, if I give all the information, anybody could do it because you have all the information. And Tia be like, yeah, but everybody not you.
Not
you know,
you.
there's still a certain thing that is you that is the thing. Like nobody give a fuck. People love the rap and the music, but people love LaRusell. You feel me? And that's been a big thing for me. I don't have to chase hits. I am the hit.
Hey. Hey.
Yeah.
Come on.
Now tell me if I'm wrong. What's her name over here?
Tieta.
Does he give this information to you and everybody else around him? Is he constantly pushing you for more? Because he seems like that type of guy.
All right, so you really want to know?
Yeah, the mic drops.
You really want to know?
No, for sure. I wouldn't even see like the Tieta, the role. Like everybody needs a tea. Like that wouldn't even exist if he wasn't like so open with all the information that he gives. I don't know nothing about nothing that I do right now. He
Yeah.
taught me everything. He gave me all the tools and was like, "Here's everything that I know. Figure it out.
Let's
and
get it."
whatever you can't figure out, we'll figure out together." But yeah, he's like all of us. Slash is in the next room over doing live sessions. You know nothing about how to do that until you got here and started working with the Russell.
And that's what I was telling you in the car earlier. I said it reminds me of me so much because I'm constantly pushing everybody to jump more into your craft or learn how to do this and learn how to do that. And you could be better at this and you could do this because I always want the people around me to be great as well. And I could sense that from the way that everyone is around you. Now you got the footage is crazy. I can't wait till people see that footage, right? But your cameraman is dancing and diving and
This ain't what you want. If you with me, you can get what you want.
falling back. And you know what I mean? Like the energy is so amazing around everything you're doing. I could tell that you're pouring into them as well. Something that Tony Yayo is a good friend of mine. And he called me one day and he said to me, Danza, when are you gonna move that damn studio out the house? Something bad's gonna happen. And you know, you need to get it out the house, you need to get a studio outside of home. And I was thinking about it, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't really carry that about myself.
Come on.
I feel like I walk with God, right? I walk with that energy and I feel comfortable being me. They were saying earlier, like, you know, somebody's gonna end up trying to come up to you and rob you. I don't feel like I'm that guy.
I don't receive
I
that.
feel like if somebody wants to rob me, they're gonna walk up to me and they're gonna end up slapping me up. Like, I like this guy. For whatever reason, I just like this guy. Right? Now you are somebody that you still, as much recognition as you have gotten, you keep it at home. Do you ever feel uncomfortable?
I don't ever feel uncomfortable, but you know, sometimes people will remind you that you home because they're uncomfortable. You know, like my venue is my mama's backyard, one of them, you know, and me and my pops and mom, we had to have those conversations. It's like, it's people from all over the world who come here. I shoot videos in my driveway. I rehearse in my garage. So it's like, we've always had those convos. And I'm always just like, you know, for me, it's worth it. You know, if it's worth it. Like for people to get the experiences they're getting and what I'm giving and these kids to get it, it's worth it. If somebody wants to harm me for doing what God put me here to do, then that was within the will and within the story. And I accept that, you know, like I said, I know what energy I cultivate and I don't welcome that energy into my space, but you can't stop somebody from doing what they want to do. And I don't walk around in fear of that. Every day I get up and I go for a walk around my neighborhood and I go get I'm outside, you know, so I don't, and I get so much love and grace and energy because people know that. Like, I just feel like I'm protected. I feel more comfortable at home than anywhere else.
Word.
You know, like when I'm in other places, it's like, but even then, I'm home. Niggas love me everywhere. And the niggas who don't love me gotta have a problem with the niggas who do love me.
Yeah.
You feel
Word.
me?
Hey, Scott, you were talking shit about me. And when I was telling you this exact same thing, I said I don't have to worry about. I just want you to know.
Oh God.
This is what I was saying to you. When I walk outside, I don't feel that same way.
Plus,
you also,
my bad. I mean, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, plus you all also know about the nature of the business in which you are doing. So you don't have nothing to feel guilty or feel like, oh, what we're doing here is wrong. There's none of that. I'm acting in a righteous manner for a righteous cause. So it's like, why would that? I don't receive that negative energy.
Right.
It's not even a possibility at this point. And like you said, if it happens, and if thy will be done, but I'm not inviting that. That's not what this is. There's the likeliness of that happening is just not there.
And I don't let people pour that in my cup.
Facts.
I don't drink shit I don't want to drink. You feel me? When niggas come with the nigga, here, I move my cup. You can pour that shit somewhere else. It ain't for my cup. I don't take it. You know? It's like you could think and live in that logic if you want, but I just don't.
I think what's cool too, and this is without really knowing, you know, we just met, right? But one of your superpowers, from what I perceive, is that you know who you are. And what comes with that, when you know who you are, you know what you're willing to settle for. You know where a person can only go so far before, all right, I'm pulling the cord.
Yeah.
But if you don't know yourself, you get stepped all over, people take advantage of you, or you're just completely naive to the situation. But it seems like you have a good understanding of what you're willing to settle for and how far.
And that's the core of it. Like, if you don't know who you are, people are allowed to tell you who you are. And you accept that. So when people get online and be like, you fake, you this, you start accepting it because you don't know who you are. So all the information you get, and you have to determine if that's you or not. I don't have to do that. You know, it don't matter what a nigga say online or to me. I know. You feel me? And I'm never swayed on that. If I'm swayed on that, it's because of my own actions and my own statements, never nobody else's.
You're also super vocal about mental health. Although you're one of the more positive people I've come to know. Have you ever had any battles with depression?
Yeah. Yeah.
Short answer?
Often.
Yeah.
Often. I think when you carry a light, and when you wake up every day and there's somebody who wants something from you, something in some capacity, or you changed my life, you did this, I just want this, could you help me with it? Could you
repost?
Like, it starts to alter your state a bit. You know, like you have to constantly remind yourself of who you are and what you do and why you here. And you got to constantly bring yourself back down when you start going too high to where you looking down on niggas. And then you got to bring yourself back up when you're going too low and you looking up to it. Like, I always had those battles, you know, just having so much weight on my shoulders. I'm the first successful person in my lineage. My mama, my daddy, my cousin, my sister, they never experienced this. My mama is like famous locally, you know, like niggas like, nigga, that you know, we ain't never experienced this. We ain't never had this kind of life. We ain't never had black trucks up and down the block and celebrities pulling and call. Never. When you the first in your lineage and you take care of everybody in your village and your people and you constantly got to show up, I got to show up even when I don't feel great. When I don't feel good that morning, I might wake up a morning and I don't feel like LaRusell. I don't feel like I'm shining. I'm just that kid that used to be in my bedroom and I'm trying to work through that. but I got to go outside and it's a show. And people want to see me smile and show. So often, I battle often, but like I always sit with myself. And like I said, I'm reminded that I'm walking in my path. And as long as I'm showing up as myself, I know I'm doing what's right. And whatever journey and roadblock I encounter during that time, it's a moment. It's a moment in time. You know, it don't last. It's just, this is what I'm getting through right now.
Do you ever feel like a break is needed?
Yeah, naturally. You know, when you running a marathon, you're going to need a break.
Yeah.
You're going to need a break. And
Because, you know, people always like grind hard, work 24/7, nonstop, never quit, never. So, you know, you have these memes and these pages that it's all that, very stoic, you know, take no days off. We must show up and repeat. It's like, okay, but realistically speaking, on a day-to-day, I need some me time.
And that's the thing that different people got to learn. Everybody has their capacity. Some niggas could play all 48 minutes in the game. Some niggas could play 20 and then need to go sit down for a bit and come back. Some niggas only got 5. They got a good 5 and then it's like, I ain't got no more. And as you run and you learn this game, you learn what you could do. You feel me? And you adjust to that. Sometimes I beat that road down all month. And then when I come home, it's like, don't talk to me. I'm chill. I'm going. You know, so you just got to know your capacity. And that's something that I've learned as I've grown.
That's what I was gonna ask you after that, if you're able to, because honestly, like, there's so much,
and I'm always working,
much music.
But I love the work, content, and the work that I do fulfills me. And like my work is me being me, so I'm never really off because I am LaRussell, and I don't have like. I don't go in the back and take a wig off and a costume and shit. Like, nigga, everywhere you see me, I'm me. So I'm always kind of at work and in that flow. But I integrate things that I'll go walk and I'll go play tennis and I'll go hike and I'll ride my bike. And these are like, and I go play pickleball. These are things that just kind of give me grounding and earthing. So I really show up as myself often to where I don't have to like, I don't go crazy, you know?
You good at tennis?
Yeah, I mean, I get busy. I'm good at everything.
There we go.
I knew it was coming. I knew it. But that's who you are. That's who you are through and through. I'm not gonna say I'm good at tennis, so I wasn't calling you out.
I was gonna let you tell me that too.
I wasn't
let this nigga lie to me real quick. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I'm a pickleball champion.
Oh God.
You know what I'm saying? But that's amazing that you're able to do that. And, you know, the fact that you are someone that is feeding this information to your fans, you know, teaching them also and giving them opportunities to make money with you.
Come on.
Right? What has it been like, this relationship and the evolution of your relationship with your fans? Like, how does that feel for you?
Incredible. Incredible because it's a position that never existed. I remember one time we was just doing some shit at the crib, and I had looked into my distro account, one of them, and it said it paid out $100,000. And out of that $100,000, my share was like $23,000. I gave away 70% of my earnings to the team, fans, investors, just homies, people I've met. And it was such a beautiful thing to me. Some niggas be mad, like, man, I should have kept all my money. I didn't feel like that at all. It was like, man, wow.
Watch what I do next.
Wow.
Why, yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, it was such a beautiful thing because that never existed. And my goal was to really change the game. I wanted to live within a culture that was what I wanted to experience and how I wanted to be treated and just dope shit. And to do that and be new, it's like, imagine you bought a pair of Nikes and then you start getting revenue from it. You feel me? That shit ain't never existed, ever. Niggas got a closet full of Nikes and a pocket empty.
Right, yeah. All the advertising, running and jumping, everything.
Now, I'm guessing your age here is probably around 28, 29 years old?
I'm 30.
30.
I just turned 30.
Yeah. And I was going based off of your music and what you say. If you were to go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Lock in. Do it every day, relentlessly. Do what you want. If you want to do it for a living, then do it for a living. Like, I fucked off so much time, so much, and I've always had so much potential, but I bullshit. I spend all day with some women and fuck around and go to the club and party and chill at the kickback and pool. I wasted so much time and smoked so much. I wasted so much time and energy. I could have been here if I was locked in. Like my young nigga Mally, by the time he my age, filthy. We got that the way he work and he get it because he get to see the flow. It's different, but I didn't have nobody guiding me on this journey to let me know that, you know? So I really I blew a lot of time and energy and space and just effort and gave myself so much when I didn't have to. Like, I didn't even have a value of myself. Like, I've given myself to women as if I was like valueless and they were all of the value. You feel me? Because I didn't have a level of self-respect. I didn't respect my time, my body, my energy, none of that shit. You feel me? So I would really tell myself to lock in, but I wouldn't tell myself much. I would show myself like I've done with Mally. I've showed him the ropes and the road and what this journey looks like.
Is it tough for you to be in relationships with the way you operate?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's as tough as you make it, but yeah, because for me, it's never a priority. Like, the thing that matters to me the most at this point in my life is always my career and my journey and what I'm after. And once I get to where I wish to get to, I feel like that would be a more priority in my life. But for me now, I think it's tough just because I'm never going to give it the energy that it deserves, it deserves and requires. And I know that.
Do you feel like you wake up every single day and you're not satisfied with where you are right now?
Nah, I don't wake up dissatisfied. Some days I do, but I usually wake up really, really satisfied, and that's why I'm able to go do more. Because I'm so grateful for where I got to. It's like, nigga, I'm finna turn this bitch up. I was just telling him, he was like, man, I gotta do that. And I said, you get to. You don't got to, you get to. So some days I wake up and I feel like I got to, and I carry that energy through the day. But some days I wake up and I'm like, I get to, and I carry that energy through the day.
So let's get it done. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
You got so many people that you've become responsible for. You know, now you've become that leader.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite artists, and luckily I was able to enjoy the artist prior to when he was lost, was Nipsey Hussle.
Come on.
Okay. And when you mention things like it's a marathon, you know, watching, for me it was, I mean, that's a movie.
Yeah.
He was talking about the marathon the entire time. And then once he finally hits his victory lap, he's gone.
Victory lap.
You know,
man.
Knowing that you are that and you're inspiring a community, you're inspiring a nation, because it's not there. It really, it's missing. We don't get to listen to music often with a positive message behind it, or somebody that seems like they genuinely care for people.
Or even just having fun.
Yeah.
Like that genuinely enjoys it and loves it.
How about
often you hear a song and you can feel the love coming out. You be in your car smiling.
Yeah.
Because you can feel the love coming out of it. You know, like that energy just gone. And just within the culture, like you look at all of our platforms and blogs and they so negative. You look at comment sections and it's so negative, and it's like, when was that cool? When was that cool? Like we just allowed it to really just be turned into something that is not, and niggas go along with it and accept it, and I'm just like, nah. When was that cool? When was it okay to just knock niggas all day online and be in their comments talking negative about them and doing all that? Like, when was that cool? Yeah. Niggas talk nasty about people all day and everybody laugh and kiki, and it's like, nah. Nah, but that's what the culture has turned into, and it's almost a mockery. We don't get award shows no more, none of that shit, because the energy don't exist no more. They don't know where to find it and where to get it. Everybody too cool. Niggas too cool to dance. Word. Since when? Since when? Right. Niggas too cool to dance? Westside, throw that shit up every time I get the chance. I'm so hot, I'm sitting in my dance. Been on the run, let's run 30 cents. Ain't smoke, cooking up dope, smell like 30 rings. That's some shit that when you a kid, nigga, what?
Yeah.
You walk in the function and in the event and niggas ain't even smiling. Like, niggas in the studio not smiling, not having fun. You feel me? Like, it's just, I don't know what happened, but we got to bring it back and remind niggas that, like, bro, no, if you don't love it, then get up out of here. You don't have to do this. You don't have to be here. You don't have to build platforms. Like, we got to get that shit up out of here.
You know what I would like from your music? You know how, like, you get because you're different. You're not your, like, traditional hip-hop artist, right? When you listen to people like John Mayer, you get his album, but then they have the live version.
Mm-hmm.
When you do your live music,
Yeah.
and even having the fan noise in the background and just the way you operate it, I need all the live.
Yeah, we got some of them
that.
on DSPs. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We got some of them up.
Yeah, because that's I need every one of them.
Oh God.
Live, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's just that, like, you could hear the fun in it.
It's alive.
Yeah.
It's alive. That's why we start doing those. Like, some people be like, man, the regular version don't sound like the live version. And it's like, no shit.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to. In the studio, I don't have 100 niggas outside like this holding that. It's not supposed to. That's why you come to the live show if you want to experience the live experience.
It's a dangerous experience because you could tear your knee.
Come on. You heard? You get down too much. That energy getting you.
Yeah. So you forget how old you are sometimes. You know what I mean?
That was cool as hell, though, man. Because then he came back. Like, I'm still here. We still gonna rock out.
Brought him back.
Come on.
But he felt that energy that niggas don't feel to read. Like, if you see that video with me and Busta, he got a light because he got to feel that energy that he ain't felt in so long. That feeling that made him love hip hop and love this shit. He ain't felt that so long. Richie Rich ain't felt that so long. Juvie was back there like a kid, teasing, smiling, like nigga wanted to rap all day.
Yep, and that was before the reunion too. So if you think about the timeline of it, he getting amped up like, oh, you know what? Let's do it.
That's how we used to be as kids when your homies outside. It's like, nigga, we finna play all day. What happened to that energy? You feel me? It's like, that's it. That's what this shit about. That's how it's supposed to feel.
Now, you said that when you imagine stuff, you know, you expect it to be at least that, if not more. But did you ever think that you would be doing the things that you're doing today? And like in the backyard, having these people come through to the crib and creating this environment for people and just you're changing the world one day at a time?
Hell nah, because I didn't think it was real. Like, it took me a long time to get to the point where I was like, oh, my life is of my making. All of this could be a reality. If I would have never came to, I would have just worked my life away. Because I could work hard and I could grind, I could hustle. Like, it was like, I'm going to keep moving up in the company. I would have eventually been to the top of some company, you feel me? But it's like, when you finally had that realization, it's like, wow, I could do this, but I still never dreamed this far because I was really step by step. It was like, let me throw one show. Oh, that was successful. I could do another one. Oh, that was successful. I could do another one. You know, I always stepped it out. But now it's like, I know how limitless it is. My life really got no bounds. I could do whatever the fuck I want. I really wake up every day and do whatever I feel like doing, whatever I want to bring to life. And I know that that's my goal and my job here is to like show people what's possible.
And you mentioned that earlier. You said you forgot you invited the dancers. You know, people don't even know who's popping up. You know, so you're creating like these people are rolling up. They don't know what's going on. You got the whole community out there.
I know if we outside making shit happen, something gonna happen. That's all I know. It's like if I show up and we start working and moving, something gonna happen. It don't matter who there, who not there. The people who there, something gonna happen. I'm one of those, I just look at a spot and it's like, do this. We gonna come up with something. You feel me? And I know that. I know that as long as I grab that shovel and start digging, I'm gonna get a hole. That's the one thing I'm going to get. What I do after, I don't know. But I know for sure if I put this shovel in this dirt 100 times, 1,000 times, it's gonna be a hole in that motherfucker. That's the one thing that's guaranteed.
That's what I can control. Yeah.
Do you want does it matter to you, the accolades, the Grammys? the show awards, do those things matter to you? Do you want them?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think they nice celebrations, but not necessarily because I know that it's not real. Like me and T were just talking the other night. If you look at like Spotify, like streaming monthly listeners and shit, there's some artists that has like hella monthly listeners and streams, and like I got like 500,000, and I be looking like, how is this real? And no one knows this person. If we walk down the same street and anywhere, people will walk past them and come straight to me because my 500,000 though is lower is real. I don't have like playlisting support and DSPs and all of these people who pushing my music. So my 500,000 is 500,000 people who woke up that moment and said, I want to hear LaRussells. They should be playlist, Spotify, editorial. It's
comes in my playlist
all
and I'm
these
like,
sources
what is this
that's
song?
like
I'm skipping
non-organic and not it don't be real. And I look at that with everything. Like if you live by their compliments, then you're gonna die by when they don't compliment you. So I don't really hold any of that shit in high reverence. I just do what I do and I love what I do.
So what are you aiming for?
Nothing really. I wake up every day and I put a shovel in the dirt. And they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You feel me? I think that's the beauty of what I do. I'm not after anything, but I'm after everything. You know?
Yeah, we're not opposed to the Grammys. We're not opposed to the accolades.
I'm going to do the work. And if that come from it, let that come from it.
Word.
But I'm going to do that, and then I'm right back. My tiny desk dropped, and I had everybody hitting my line. Guess what I'm doing? I'm outside shooting.
Yeah.
It's like, some niggas finally get that moment, and that's like they like, man, we did it. Nigga, I'm outside shooting. You feel me? Some go viral, freestyle go viral, this happened. I'm outside working. Like, it's all big to me, but it's like, that ain't gonna stop that's not what I do it for. Right. I didn't do all this shit to get a tiny desk. I did all this to live how I want to live, and take care of my family. So it's like I don't die by none of it. It's like I love to do this. That's it. And I want to take this shit as far as I can take it. And I don't know when that's gonna stop. And I'm not worried about when it stops. I'm just gonna keep getting up and keep going. And the day I can't get up and go, I feel great about what I've done. I know I did my shit.
And do you feel so? The fact that you've been able to do so many great things for so many people, right? And all of it important. Everybody's life that you're able to touch. But nothing's more than when you do that for your mom.
Yeah.
Has your mom ever just like sat you down and just gave you that talk like, I'm so proud of you and so grateful for you?
Yeah, and we've been having it more often lately. Yeah, nice. She does it in her own way. Like, it took us a long time to get to a space with either of my parents where like we talk at that level where it's like I love you, I'm grateful, hugs. That was a long process, but yeah, she does it often in her way now too.
Because I say that because I've been kind of trying to change my journey in the podcast, and you've seen all the crazy stuff that we have, all the viral moments that we've had.
Yeah.
And, I'm starting to get a little bit more into that spiritual realm. Recently lost my grandmother. And one of the things that she always said to me, which is wild, is she wanted me to be a preacher. I wanted to be a preacher early on because, I was always trying to impress her. I lost her, and I've said this story before, but I lost her when we did a deal with Revo with our audio. And when I went there is when I lost her. When I finally got like that, that one little deal that we made. I lost her that day when I got off the golf cart to enter in there. They called me and said, "Hey, she passed." And I feel like I'm fulfilling that. Like I lose her as I'm, creating, and becoming sort of like a preacher. I'm in front of the cameras. I'm talking to people all the masses. And it's sort of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, like you're able to reach through some, like I'm sure because I see like so much similarities in the way that the two of us are, I'm sure that every person matters, right? Like you don't really need to reach out to 50 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because those 500,000, like you said, they're really actually typing in your name and they're going to your page. I can't tell you how many times the playlist comes across. And there's an artist that I don't want to listen to. Yeah. And I'm like, man, how did this creep in here? Right? It's just a quick skip. Right. I never paid attention to the name. You know what I mean? I don't know the name. I don't know the name of the song, but I'm like, how did that get in there?
Right.
But I know that when I go to listen to your music, I'm going to listen to your music. You know what I mean?
By choice.
And I feel like not only do you do that for your fans, but you do that for your family. You do that for the company you keep, no pun intended, because company, you know. What's it been like, the journey with your coworkers, I should say, right? Like your
staff,
your people. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to call them your employees, right? Like I feel like they mean much more to you.
Man, definitely. It's been a beautiful journey, like of just a metamorphosis. Like I started off in my mom's garage with my mom and my pops and my homies. Like I started off with who I had, not necessarily who I needed. I just had the people that was around me. So it was like, help me with this. You do this, you do this, you do this. I was always after this. My first shows, my first merch runs, me and my pops pieced up together to make those happen. You know, like my mom used to drive and drop off the packages. And, you know, me and my daughter's mom built so much of this. Some of my first logos, we sat in the room and crafted. So it was really like me and my homies starting. And as I scaled and I grew, you know, relationships change and shit separate and part. And you start also finding people that you actually like need, that's helpful and like really amplify and propel the journey. And you get a different perspective of like, damn, am I getting what I should be getting from this person? Or do we need to be doing business in this facet and we could just be friends because I actually want to go somewhere and you may not want to go somewhere, but you was the homie then and was around. So you like around, but you didn't actually want what I wanted. And you're not willing to do what I'm willing to do to get it, you know? So it's been like just a crazy journey and process of like gaining friends and losing friends and gaining associates and losing associates and working through family and maneuvering who can help with what and how this looks. And, you know, I've taken a lot of losses by employing the homies, and I've had a lot of gains and wins employing the homies, you know? So I just look at it as a beautiful process and metamorphosis for me to get to like where I am now. What I could really say that I'm really grateful for now is every nigga around me that you see has a role and is here for a reason. No one's just here because they the homie and I'm just like, man, just do this for me. Nah, everyone, we beat up that road. If it's 10 niggas on the road, it's 10 niggas who do something, who great at what they do, and they here for that purpose. And that wasn't always the case, but I'm so grateful I had homies early on who believed in what I was doing enough to just assist at that level.
And I'm so grateful for this moment, to be honest with you. I'm really grateful to be able to have this conversation with you. One of the questions that we ask when we wrap up our interviews, our conversations, I don't even like calling them interviews. Life is grand. It's not just, I can't tell you to tell me out of a 1 to 10 where you feel today or where you're at, because it's too much. You know what I mean? It's so vague. Out of a 1 through 100, where do you feel like you're at in the scale of life?
1,000. Hey,
I was waiting for that.
1,000, man. I'm living my wildest dreams, and there's areas where I fall short, and I can't show up for everybody, and I'm even grateful for those moments because I realize like there's things I can't do because I'm doing so much. And what I'm doing is so important and special and valuable that it's just, I don't have time to do like micro things anymore. And that's a beautiful thing. But when I can, I do. Like when I show up, I show up and I'm fully present and I'm there and I'm invested, and when I can, and it's just, man, I'm really learning how to live. I don't have any conditioning for this. I never had mentorship for this. Like I said, I'm the first nigga in my lineage to become this. We've never witnessed or experienced it ever in my family. You feel me? As a community, we never, these niggas ain't never seen no nigga who made it, who famous, who bringing niggas back.
Bringing juvie to the block, bringing bus to the block.
You feel me? So, man, I'm on 1,000 because I'm just grateful for what I was able to, and I worked to get it. I'm not, I don't have no silver spoon. It wasn't grandfathered to me. Like, my pops hustled and he was having it for a bit, but life hit too. And it's like, I really came, everything I have started as zero.
In every sector. I gotta grab my bag from me.
All this shit is yours?
Yeah. All of it. All of it.
Different.
You heard? That's it. You know, the cultivation, like when I got this shit, eventually it's gonna turn into like an artist residency where like we really just develop niggas here, like Malachi, John Tate. So many artists come here, like get the game and the information, put a rock this shit, and then they come in and go in here and build. Nigga, I worked for all this. Foundation. I earned all the reason y'all could come in and niggas got lights and niggas got tables and rogue. I turned on this bitch and hit record. It wasn't nobody, you feel me?
Yeah.
The reason is buildings, this was all zero. Nigga, I ain't had nothing. Socks and pockets was empty. I worked for all this. So it's just like, just having that perspective and knowing what we came from and what we started as, and it's real and it's true and it's genuine. I'm not gonna tell you no shit that didn't exist or didn't partake. You can go holler at my mama, go holler at my pops, go holler at niggas who seen me grow up and go to school. It's all, I show up as myself, and I'm grateful for that, man. I'm on 1,000. I'm on 1,000. I really made that shit happen.
Hello.
I love that. I love that answer.
You heard?
So when is that moment hit where you could sit back and say, I'm satisfied and I'm moving into something else? Or do you feel like that moment will ever hit?
2026. I told myself by the end of 2026, I'm gonna be done, you know, and I'll determine then what I want to do. But I know that I'll be done in whatever aspect that feels like. You know, I won't have to do this no more. It'll just be a different light of energy. That's what I gave myself. I don't know why 2026, but that's what the universe has dawned on me and told me it's gonna be. And I believe it, and I work towards it every day. And that's why I do so much now. Like I throw shows every weekend. Like you can come see me in the same place, because I want people to get these experiences, because when it's gone, it's gone.
Biggie died. Damn, so did Juice WRLD. R.I.P. Mac Miller, the rap game is a killer. I read the news saying they confused the Jews with the melanated ones. That's why they giving us guns.
And I won't feel no guilt or regret about it. I don't owe nobody anything. I really served and played my part. So when I want to just chill and go to the park with my kids and hang out, I could do that without feeling like I owe anybody else anything, you know?
I can see it now, 2026.
Yeah. We finna be doing arenas next year and stadiums 2026.
Yeah,
it's done.
2026 is going to be city council meetings. They got LaRusell speaking.
Hey, I'm already doing that. You know, we already doing that.
That's
we
fine.
just had a meeting with the city manager yesterday.
There you go.
Speaking of,
we already doing that. But that may be my next venture. You know, I was heavily a part of like the members that's running this year, and I held a council meeting in my backyard and like shit, and just deciding what our city leadership looks like and where it's going. We've been meeting with the police departments and everything, and our next election year is 2028, so I may be running that year.
Ooh,
that's
hey.
a little early, a little, you know, we can hold it here, but you know, a little, that might be what I'm on.
Okay. What advice would you give to these artists that are coming out now, seeing that you are so successful in content creation, one of the best I've seen? What advice would you give to these artists that are trying to make music now or trying to be relevant in the industry?
Hone your craft. I think that's number one. Hone your craft. If you're gonna be a rapper, you gotta be able to rap. Like, get great at it. Love it enough to do it, to get great at it. You know, after that, lock in. Like, it's so much time that we get to squander and waste and bullshit where it's like, if you would have just did the work with that time, you'd be so far ahead. You'd be so far ahead, but niggas don't understand I was able to get to 35 albums because I kept making, I never stopped. I never stopped making music. That's the one, you'll see me here, during all those trips, all that time, I'm making music. That's what I love to do. Like, you can't lose that love and that passion for it. The moment you lose the love, just stop. Leave it alone, because you're not going to be able to do anything great within it. You're not going to be able to serve. It's going to be a disservice. Hone your craft, love it, and lock in.
Yeah. Last thing. Now that we've gotten this done and we came out here to Cali to get this done, can we run this back inevitably in Miami?
Yep. Next time I'm out that way, I'm pulling up. Come on.
Yeah. Well, my man, I appreciate you greatly. It's another phenomenal. This is a classic. This is a classic Danza Project episode. I can't wait to drop this. I can't wait till the people see it. Again, we're super grateful to be able to have this conversation with you, and I wish you continued success in all your
Oh, man, gratitude.
Yes,
This is
sir.
legendary.
Yeah,
You heard what it is.
We on the
Danza
compound.
Project, LaRusell. Let's get it, baby.
Hammer time. Hammer time.